Hello and welcome to the Lighthouse, the actionable marketing podcast that helps small businesses and startups to navigate the rocky shores of getting your business out there. My name is Lydia Carrick and I am your host of this podcast, and I am the founder of an agency called Lenny and Stan. And we help small businesses and startups through agency services and consultancy to grow and achieve their dreams and hit profitability very, very quickly. Today, we're going to be talking about elevator pitches. Now, elevator pitches are usually associated more with the sales teams and pitching to investors. It's usually something that the founder has tucked away in their pocket. But I don't feel like elevator pitches get enough love in the marketing department. Elevator pitches are really important to getting people to understand what your business is. And isn't that the core sole function of marketing, is getting people to understand the business and to buy the product based off of quick snap judgments? So let's get into this episode. So what actually is an elevator pitch? An elevator pitch is a brief, short, compelling summary of who you are, what you do, what you sell, why you sell it, the dream behind your business, all compacted down into a really short statement. The idea is that if you got into an elevator or a lift with somebody super, super famous, or perhaps someone really pivotal to your business, a key decision maker at that company that you've always wanted to work with, or somebody who would buy your product, or perhaps it's a motivational speaker that you really want to get in for that next piece of content that you think will go viral. How do you capture their attention between floors? You've only got maybe 30 seconds or less to really capture their attention. And how would you do that? Well, with an elevator pitch. Having them prepared and tucked up your sleeve is really, really important. So let's have a think about what the theory is behind an elevator pitch. An elevator ride is usually about 30 seconds or less. But psychologically, people form opinions incredibly quickly. We know that the average person has an attention span of about 8 seconds, so you've got to capture them within that 8 seconds and really capture them. First impressions are made instantly. So coming across as maybe fun or interesting or with a really nice hook is so important. Your opening line needs to be engaging, your message needs to be structured, and you need to hold the attention of the person that you're talking to for the whole of that pitch. Imagine if they miss their floor because they're so engrossed in what you're saying that, they've completely forgotten where they are and where they're going. A good elevator pitch has 3 key elements: clarity, engagement, and persuasion. And with these 3 elements, you're essentially trying to capture that person. It should clearly state what you do. It should be interesting enough to hold attention, and it needs to give the listener a reason to care. And that is the most important thing, is giving them a reason to care. Now, whether you're selling an idea, a product, a service, yourself, or anything, the key is this: make your message memorable and compelling in the shortest time possible. So where are elevator pitches used? A strong elevator pitch can be used across so many different places. Now, the most obvious is networking events and industry conferences. When you're at these events, you're kind of talking to a lot of people and they're going to be getting a lot of elevator pitches. So being punchy and standing out is going to be quite important. You might be introducing yourself to collaborators or potential customers, and they're going to be getting a lot of this. But having that nice short elevator pitch to immediately get their attention, or if they're not interested in your business, they're not going to waste your time, is quite important. Hiring employees is another really key place where the elevator pitch can be used. These can be put in your job descriptions. They can be used to talk to employees at career fairs. It can be used in the interviews to kind of give a bit of a summary of what the company is and whether it's right for the employee. The classic one is investor meetings. So if you're going to pitch for funding or, get investment or even find mentors, you're going to need your elevator pitch, and you're going to need to do that at the beginning of your pitch in the first 2 or 3 slides that you're doing to get across what it is that you do. It's also going to be used in the emails that you send them to make sure that you're in the right room. Sales conversations. When you've got a potential customer, having that elevator pitch ready to go and all your sales team kind of educated in that and really well rehearsed and they can just rattle it off, it's going to be quite important. You need to explain what you do, why you do it to customers and client meetings. But personally, the most important one for this is advertising and marketing. Elevator pitches aren't just for face-to-face conversations. Think about your homepage. Your homepage is essentially an elevator pitch. You've got less than 8 seconds to really capture their attention with a good hook. The hook goes in the top part of the website where the catchphrase goes right at the beginning in the hero banner. Then as you scroll down, there's a little bit more of information. Well, that's the kind of next bits of your elevator pitch, aren't they? Is kind of explaining what you do and why you do it and to what audience you do it for. When you treat your landing pages and your home pages as elevator pitches and you start to think of it that way, you can actually guide your audience through your business, get them to understand it, and then move them on to the call to action. So having an elevator pitch for all these different things is so important. So how do you write a strong elevator pitch in the first place? So we know, as we've covered, it needs to be short, clear, and engaging. We know it needs to be 30 seconds, and 30 seconds is probably around sort of like 200, 250 words, depending on how fast you can speak. So the first thing you want to do is start with a hook. Get a sentence that grabs attention. Something like a story or a statistic that's really sparked curiosity. I have a secondary business called Amputee. It's an app for amputees. And the start of my elevator pitch is a story about why Amputee is here in the first place. It begins like this. In 2016, my dad was in a horrific motorbike accident and lost his leg below the knee. It was a terrifying time, not helped by the lack of resources out there for amputees and their families. I then go on to talk more about the kind of statistics and things like that afterwards. But you might start with a statistic to begin with. Did you know that 70% of small businesses fail because they don't reach the right customers? Suddenly, a room full of investors might perk up. You kind of need that hook to kind of grab that person's attention. Get that right, and they're happy to listen to the rest. The next bit is to use power words. Power words are very, very strong bits of language that can really punctuate your sentences and make them really strong. So, for example, the word breathtaking is a power word. Adorable, conquer. These are really strong words that stand out in a pitch. Now, SmartBlogger has a fantastic resource all about power words. If you just Google power words and smartblogger.com, they have this whole article with 800 different power words that you can use to really bring your pitch to life. And how you can use them as well to make your sentences even better. Using those will really make your elevator pitch strong and powerful. The next bit is to incorporate storytelling. Remember how in my Amputee pitch I started with a story? You can add this in wherever you want to your elevator pitch to really transport the listener into your business, to get them thinking about putting themselves into the shoes of the customer or client that you serve. People react to stories better than just stats and statistics. So if you can back up your statistics with a story, it's much likely to be remembered. Be clear and concise with your elevator pitches. Now, I've said this quite a lot, but it is so important. 30 seconds is really not a lot of time. So you kind of want to build in some nice, clear sentences, avoiding jargon, avoiding overcomplicated sentences, vague descriptions. Keep it very, very on point and keep refining it over time. Like, test it on people and make sure they understand what you're saying. Because ultimately, if you're not being clear, you're not going to get your business across in a way that somebody else can understand. They're not going to want to invest in you, and they're not going to want to open the doors that you want opened. And finally, the most important thing with an elevator pitch is finish with an ask. Ask for something. Ask for mentoring. Ask for investment. Ask people to click a button if you're using your elevator pitch on a website. I want to further connect. I'm looking for mentors. I am looking to raise £250,000 in the next 6 months to achieve X. Can I send you some more details? By structuring your elevator pitch with these clear elements, your message will get across quite well, and you're going to leave a lasting impression. Whether you're introducing yourself for the first time or making a quick sales pitch to someone that you've been nurturing a relationship with, an elevator pitch is going to really get across your business idea. And also, it gives them, if they remember it, they'll go away to their boss and they'll try and replicate that elevator pitch and say, I just met someone, and then try and remember what they can about your elevator pitch to sell it to somebody else, who will sell it to someone else, who will be the decision maker that gets you what you want. So, Let's talk about the different uses of elevator pitches. The sort of biggest, most classic use of an elevator pitch is your business, is getting across your business. This is going to be used on your homepage. It's going to be used throughout your website to really explain to a customer what it is you do. But the secondary point of an elevator pitch can be for your products and services. When you're trying to communicate a new product line, you're going to be talking to maybe your internal staff, you're going to be talking to customers, you're going to be trying to sell it. So having an elevator pitch, a little short 30-second thing about each product line, is really important. How do these products stand out in the market? How do they differentiate themselves from the competitors? How are they different from other product lines you have on your website? So the thing that you can do when you're structuring a product-based or service-based pitch is to, one, identify the problem. Start by highlighting a common pain point that your audience faces. Two, present the solution. Why is this particular line of hammers better than anyone else's? Why is your service for home-baked goods better than going to the shop? How do you solve the problem that you've just identified? And three, show the value. What is the benefit to the customer? These hammers have better grip, therefore you're going to be able to hammer twice as fast and get the nails in, which means you can finish a job 25% quicker and either go home early or move on to your next job. If your home-baked goods are helping the elderly, it could be that perhaps it makes them X amount happier. Perhaps it improves their quality of life and that makes them healthier, happier. Perhaps, think about the value that you're giving. And if you can justify it with a statistic, great. But you can also justify your value with a story. And you can take a typical customer story or actual customer quotes to help present the value that you give. So once you've got that core thought, you then need to adapt your pitch for different audiences. Now, adapting your elevator pitch for your different audiences is really important. You should have a segmentation-based approach to your audiences. You'll have your target market in your head, but you can break those down into smaller groups. You might want to twist the elevator pitch to focus on those different customers. It might be that you have a different pitch for customers that are over 50 and under 50. It might be that you have a student group of customers and the students, really have that Gen Z feel to their speech. But if you're going to appeal to people that are over 70, for example, they're going to have a whole different language and a way that they speak. So you want to make sure that you're tailoring that, but it's not just about the language, it's about the value they're going to get out of it. Different audience groups might use your products in different ways and get different values out of it. So talking to one group and say, you can finish the job 50% quicker so that you can get more done and be more productive might not actually work for a second set of audience who actually don't really want to finish things quicker. They want to be safer and they want to be more secure in what they do, and therefore your product is going to make it safer to install. Adapting your pitch is very, very important, and particularly on things like social media, where you can target different groups. You can have different audiences set up in your adverts. So you might be targeting the newly engaged, you might be talking to people who are already married, you might be talking to any different groups, and you'd have your 4 or 5 different ad sets set up, and your elevator pitch for each ad set is going to be different depending on the audience you're targeting. And where digital marketing is great is those micro niche segmented audiences that you can really appeal to. And as we say on this podcast quite a lot, the more relevant you are, the more targeted you are, the more you relate to your audience, the more likely they are to convert. And at the end of the day, you need those conversions in order to sell and make money and continue your business. And that's why you need to tailor your elevator pitches for those different audiences, and that's how you can use those. So once you've written your elevator pitch, then what do? Well, you refine it and you keep testing it out. Go and speak to people who are close to you, who know a little bit about your business, but maybe not everything, and go and deliver the elevator pitch to them and see what they think, get feedback. Go and test it out on people that you speak to at networking events. Go and sign up for a free networking event. Take your elevator pitch with you and go and tell it to people. And then once you've said it, say, look, I'm just testing out a new elevator pitch. What did you think? Or ask them like, oh, like, I'm trying something new. What do you think I do? Like, go and talk to people, because they'll be in the same boat. They'll have elevator pitches that they need to practice. And in fact, there are even groups where you can just elevator pitch to each other. Like, that's the whole point of the group. But the more you do it, the more confident you're going to get. The more natural it's going to feel. It's going to feel less like a sales pitch and more like you just explaining what you do day to day. And try it in different scenarios. Go somewhere super formal and try it, and then go to the pub and try it, and see the different reactions that you get from people. Obviously, don't just walk up to random people in the street, deliver your elevator pitch and go, will you buy from me? Like, it's not going to work. But, in scenarios that actually matter, try it, give it a go. And one of the big things you can do is just record yourself. Go and record yourself on your phone, deliver it, listen to it back. I do it all the time. So when you're delivering your elevator pitch, you're going to want to think about your body language and your tone. You're going to want to stand tall and stand relaxed. You want to, have good posture. You want to be very relaxed, not too rigid. You want to maintain some eye contact. You don't have to maintain all the eye contact, but try and maintain eye contact with the person you're speaking to. Don't stare them down. That's a bit weird. But just have that kind of natural eye contact with them. It helps build connection. And you also want to vary your tone. Like, don't just deliver your elevator pitch in a single monotone voice and make it sound really dull. Like, use intonation. Get excited about it. Show your passion. Keep it engaging by maybe making some bits a bit slower. Maybe speed up and get really excited and kind of build that pitch. Or perhaps add some silences into your sentences to really hammer home what it is you want to do. Just enjoy that pause. Refining your pitch does really take time, and it takes a long time to get good at it, and it takes a long time to get confident at it, but the more you do it, the better you will get. So, here's your action point for this episode. Write your elevator pitch. Go away, draft an elevator pitch, start with your hook, then move into what it is you do, and then finally end with an ask. Maybe try and write one about a particular product or service that you have. Maybe you could do it about yourself. Pick one and write your elevator pitch. Then practice it. Either do it at a networking event or stand in front of the mirror and do it. But for a bonus, why don't you record your elevator pitch and post it to social media? Why don't you record what it is you do, record your elevator pitch, post it on TikTok, post it on Instagram, post it on YouTube. Just get it out there. See what happens. Send it to people. Once you've posted it, send it to people. Send it to me. I would love to see your elevator pitch. You're absolutely welcome to send it to me. The more you refine your pitch, the more natural and effective it will come. And the right opportunity comes along, you'll be ready. If you really want to have a bit more of a conversation about this, I do have clarity calls. You can book in a 30-minute call with me on my website, or you can just drop me an email. My contact details are on my website, learningandstand.com. The information will be in the show notes, so you can absolutely do that. I would love to hear your elevator pitch. It's one of the things that brings me the most joy is listening to businesses to present their elevator pitch. It's so fascinating. So if you do it and you post it on social media, please feel free to tag us on it. I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, and we're on Facebook as well, and LinkedIn. So yeah, please tag us in it and let us know how you get on. Can't wait to hear from you. So thank you for listening to this episode. We will be back every week with a marketing actionable tip. And we are excited to see your business grow. So this has been the Lighthouse Podcast. I've been Lydia Carrick. And if you've enjoyed this episode, please give us a 5-star like and subscribe. I would really, really appreciate it. It helps the podcast grow. Thank you, and I'll see you next week. Goodbye.